It is bye week, but there is major news around Michigan football and NIL. The school has reached a multi-year deal with Passes. We're going to tell you about what Passes is here on the show. They've got deals with Queen Ewers. They've got deals with Livy Dunn and others going to give you exclusive content around Michigan football and allow the Wolverines athletes in football, basketball, other sports to use the Michigan football brand name, the logo, the colors, whatever they need to sell content, to sell apparel deals, and more. And it could land Michigan a 5-star quarterback. Bryce Underwood. Bryce Underwood. You're going to want to watch today's show to tell you guys, give you guys the inside scoop of what's going on around Passes, around Michigan's NIL deal, and what the expectations are for this offseason. You got the transfer portal. You got signing day 3 weeks and a day away. I'll ask you guys this question before we jump into the rest of today's show. Would you pay $10 or more per month if it meant Michigan would land a 5-star quarterback recruit or maybe even a 5-star transfer portal recruit? Let me know down in the comments. Just comment yes or no. It is the Michigan Football Report. Ton to talk about. Bryce Underwood, NIL, Passes. Let's go. It is the Michigan Football Report. I want to remind you to subscribe to the channel. We are 33,000 and change. We're gearing towards 34,000 subscribers here on YouTube. The most watched show in 2022 and 2023. I don't think we're going to get there in 2024, but nevertheless, I want to thank all of you that have subscribed and encourage you, if you're watching today, to subscribe so you get more information in and around this program that the blog boys will not cover. Coming up next, after we talk about this deal, we're going to tell you how it impacts Bryce Underwood. He was at LSU this weekend, so let them get their butts kicked. There's a major development. There's a lot of whispers out there. I've kind of put them all together. I'm going to tell you exactly what's going around with this program, with NIL, with Bryce Underwood, and why the money keeps going up when people are saying what Michigan is going to potentially offer him or put in front of him to become a Wolverine coming up in 3 weeks and 22 days from sign day. Let's talk about Passes, all right? Passes is in a deal with Michigan. We'll tell you about exactly what this means in a moment, but the high-level details, right? I think they're the most important. Athletes at the University of Michigan can use the Michigan logo, can use the Michigan trademark. Jack, I don't know if you know this, but we about 5 years ago or so got an email from Michigan saying, you can't use the Michigan logo on our show in your background, et cetera, et cetera. That's how we ended up going with the little Michigan emoji. There's part of this Passes partnership that will include a Team 146 tier, which will go directly to the football program, spread out amongst all of the football players next season. And the goal of the 146 is to demonstrate that individual donors you're seeing there on the screen can have meaningful impact on how Michigan can be an NIL player. So it's about content. It's about apparel. And this is from the press release that was released this morning here on Tuesday, November 12th. Passes, it's the premier direct-to-fan engagement and monetization platform. Join forces with Michigan. They're going to unlock NIL value across the 29 varsity sports to recruit and retain top student athletes. It continues. It's a multi-year partnership through Learfield. So if you're unfamiliar with Learfield, if you ever listen to a Michigan radio broadcast for a game, Learfield does all of that. They kind of basically run Michigan's brand and Michigan's logo and what this Michigan program means. Learfield is the linchpin here between Passes and between Michigan. So what we feel like is going to happen, what this announcement says, and what we've heard from back channel sources in the last few days as it was leading up to the announcement here today on Tuesday of bye week, is that Michigan is getting a massive financial commitment from Passes for signing day, extravaganzas to make NIL deals for recruits coming up here on signing day in 22 days, and maybe most importantly, the transfer portal. 2025, the quarterback position is the biggest part of this deal, either a top recruit or a transfer portal quarterback. Bryce Underwood, all right? I've been talking to a bunch of people on the recruit side, on the side of this deal, on the side of parents. Let's just say Passes and this deal today, folks, has been the catalyst. It was first Dave Portnoy, $3 million. Then Jack and I man up for another million, went to $4 million. Some people didn't say $5 million. But in the last 4 or 5 days, the numbers started hitting $10 million or $15 million for a 4-year deal. And maybe Bryce Underwood doesn't expect to stay in college for 4 years, but that is the word. And without divulging what my sources have told me, Passes is behind it. So you can consider this one of the bigger announcements around the NIL that Michigan has had in the 3.5 years since it became legal July 1st, 2021. Lucy Go, I don't know how you pronounce it, the founder of Passes, says the University of Michigan ranks highly among the world's greatest institutes of higher learning and enjoys a rich tradition in history in college sports. Michigan fans like myself want to see our teams raise that national championship trophy every year. You know, Jack, Lucy is like the richest self-made female woman in America. Her net worth from not even Passes of another company is like $500 million, according to Forbes, from a prior AI company, which she was the founder to. What is Passes, though? It's leading direct-to-fan monetization platform. So, Jack, we were talking a little earlier how it compares, how we can explain it. Do you have a mic today? Why don't you jump on and tell me how you kind of explained it earlier to
It's
tell the
like
people.
it's like a Patreon or something like that where you can pay, however much money, $10, $5 a month, and you get exclusive content from the people. So like we have in the card there, Quinn Ewers, Livy Dunn doing exclusive content, maybe Bryce Underwood, maybe
Bryce Underwood.
Somebody else on the Michigan program.
Could be photos, could be just status updates, could be live chats, could be live videos, could be something else that we don't even know about. But what's going to make the difference when it comes to Michigan football with getting players to participate, getting fans to enjoy, is that people who follow this program put their money where their mouth is. Passes has made a significant commitment to Michigan. The venture capital for this creator startup, a lot of it comes from Michigan football alums and donors. They did a big deal with Texas this past season. As you mentioned, LSU, Livy Dunn, maybe for a little bit different reason, Jack. I know you're a subscriber to Livy Dunn. That is what it is all about. I'm going to say this before we continue, though. It is time for Michigan fans to put up or shut up. You don't want a 5-5 football team. You want to be back in the Rose Bowl. You want to be back in the national championship. You want to beat Ohio State again. As soon as we have the exact URL, which we don't have yet, but I believe it'll come out sometime today, we're going to put it in the comments. I'm going to tweet it out at James Yoder. We're going to put it on our Facebook page, our Instagram page. We're going to put it on TikTok. Get your ass on the internet. Commit to $10 a month. Commit to $20. Commit to $40, $50 if you can handle it, because the purpose of this is to make sure that a 5-5 and maybe 6-6 season like this just does not happen again. Michigan will not be in the looking up to schools who are putting big NIL deals in front of Quinn Ewers, in front of others, I was just thinking about this, Jack, the other day, is something that really irritated me was at the Michigan-Oregon game, right? After the game, Dante Moore was taking photos with a bunch of Michigan football players. It was all the Detroit boys, right? He went there to sit a year, had Passes, had this deal been around a year ago. I don't want to say I guarantee it, but I think Dante Moore just might be the starting quarterback at the University of Michigan right now instead of sitting the bench at Oregon. Guys, next up, we're going to talk more on this Bryce Underwood development, what this Passes deal could mean for Bryce Underwood. He was in LSU this week, saw him get their butts kicked. But before we do, I got to tell you guys about PrizePicks. It is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. When you download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less. It's that simple. More or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an insurance policy for injury. So your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves the first half and doesn't return due to injury, PrizePicks keeps your lineup alive. It's the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Again, download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. The link is down in the comments and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. PrizePicks. Run your game. So is Bryce Underwood back in play? I think that's the biggest thing I want to emphasize. Let's wait until 6, 7, 8 minutes left into today's video. I don't want to get all the the clickbait people, the people just clicking every video to see what's going on. You're gonna wait for the good stuff here. Here is the good stuff. Over the last 3 or 4 days, rumors have been on fire across the recruiting networks, On3 and Rivals and 24/7 Sports, that Michigan is not a $5 million deal from Portnoy and Yoder and others. It's a $10 million. It's a $15 million deal. And that's what we're going to talk about here. I also want to notice, shout out to my guy, Dre Fame, a busload of Michigan football fans, including Dre. If you guys are on Twitter, you probably know who he is. Went off to Bryce Underwood's playoff game on Friday. Michigan's NIL money is there, and with this passes deal, that's a fact. Now, I'm not going to disclose exactly what the parameters are, but passes is motivated to see Michigan football win games, right? Michigan football is partnering with passes because there is an opportunity to use this platform to show the money to Michigan football prospective athletes, it's the recruits, to some guys like Mason Graham, probably not him, but people who might come back for another year, and just put some extra cash in the pockets of every single Michigan football player, and of other sports, of course. Now, Bryce Underwood visited LSU this past weekend. A lot of buzz, all the recruiting blog boys over the internet, the national guys saying, oh, he's going to stick with LSU, he's going to stick with LSU, and that's fine. But let me tell you this, and without divulging every single piece of information I know, a big portion of money is being socked aside in Michigan's NIL efforts to the tune of 8 figures, right? Jack, do you know what 6 figures is? That's $100K. Do you know what 7 figures is? That's $1 million. So I'm not going to say the actual number, but 8 figures over 4 years. Pass is a big part of it. So again, make sure you guys are subscribing. I'm going to. I rarely do, but I'm going to for this deal because that's how much Bryce Underwood means to Michigan's program going forward. Just think about if you had a recruit like him this year, if you had a player like Bryce Underwood, whether he was a freshman or not, where this 5-5 Michigan football team could be. If he goes to LSU, he's going to be saying that getting away from my parents, going down, trying something new in life is more important than 3 or 4 or 5 extra. I'm talking about extra $1 million that he would get at Michigan with a deal that's on the table right now versus what LSU reportedly, as recently as this weekend, was willing to put up to secure his commitment. More from Michigan on this. Danielle Davison, the assistant AD for NIL. The partnership with Passes aligns with the university's commitment to innovation and student-athlete development, yada, 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 continues while preparing our student-athletes for success of the evolving landscape in college sports. Now, Michigan's going to put all the press releases out. Pass is going to put all the press releases out. But I will tell you this. The people who put together this multi-year, multi-million-dollar partnership with Michigan are in Ann Arbor right now, and they may camp out for the rest of the month to secure Bryce Underwood with passes to get him a spot on this team with Michigan in 2025. And it may not work, and that's fine if it doesn't, but I applaud Michigan. I applaud Sherrone more, and he chuckled a couple weeks ago when someone asked him, it was last week, about plans for 2025, and he kind of like, we're going to be all right. I'm guessing that the information that I found out over the last 3 or 4 days is the same that he has found out when it comes to the commitment that Passes and others are making towards the quarterback position in 2025, whether it being a 25 5-star recruit or a potential major transfer portal target. If you guys want Bryce Underwood to be at Michigan, comment Bryce below. Blow up the comments because I'm going to send this to his high school football coaching staff, and they're going to know whether or not Michigan fans, like they did on Friday night in his high school football playoff game, are willing to show the love in the comments, at the games, and in the pocketbook to make sure this pass deal works out. It's not going to happen without my money, without Jack's money, without your money. Put the money down, $10, $20 a month, whatever you can afford, maybe $50, maybe $100 if more, and make sure that Michigan is able to put the best financial package in front of Bryce Underwood and others for a NIL deal to get this program out of the 5-5 mediocrity they've been this season and go back to 40-3 over a 3-year stretch like we have become accustomed to over the last 3 years. Hit me up on Twitter at James Yoder if you have any more questions about this Michigan football deal with passes. It's at James Yoder. Once again, link is down in the comments and the description. Till I talk to you guys next time, go Blue.